Seattle might be one of the most misunderstood cities in the US. And while most people might overlook it, the ones who live here know exactly why they stay. After seeing and living it firsthand, I am breaking down these 7 things people love about living in Seattle. And if you don't know these, you might be missing out. Seattle's views are on another level, and I am talking about the beautiful scenery. So in Seattle, the scenery here is just absolutely gorgeous. We have it all. We've got mountains, we've got water, lakes, streams, forests, beaches. It's all around. Everywhere you go, you just see beauty everywhere. I mean, we've got mountains up to the north, to the east, to the south, to the west. We've got water all around. I mean, most places within Seattle, at least you're within a 5-minute drive of a view of water somewhere. So it's just the natural beauty here is just, I mean, to sound cheesy, it's like breathtaking. It's something that never gets old. You start to really take it for granted when you're just living here. And if the gray days start getting to you, you're not paying attention to all the natural beauty. But when you actually like stop and look, you're just like, oh yeah, I live in this amazing, beautiful place. When the sun comes out, it's like absolutely gorgeous. So that is one pro of living here, just the natural beauty. And it's something that a lot of people talk about when they first move here and when they come visit. They're just like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And it's something like you see pictures, you see, images, but it's so different when you're really here in person to just capture it. Like pictures do not do it justice, but the natural beauty here is just gorgeous and it never gets old. Seattle's weather is way better than people love to complain about. And number 2, living here is mild climate. So Seattle really does have a fairly mild climate. We don't get really hot in the summer. We don't get really cold in the winter. It's pretty temperate and pretty easy breezy. I mean, honestly, we get a lot of rain that we're known for, but that rain is not as bad as people make it out to be. I don't know. Maybe I've just lived here long enough that I'm used to it, but it really is a drizzle and you kind of just get used to it. And as someone, I grew up around snow. I hate the snow. I'm so sick of it. I don't want snow ever again. So that's why I love living here is we don't get snowy winters. We do occasionally get a random snowstorm, maybe once every other year typically, where it will snow for a while. The whole city shuts down. Nobody can drive or go anywhere when it snows. It's kind of fun because it doesn't happen very often. And then after like 2 or 3 days, it melts, it's gone, and everybody gets on with their life. So that's one thing I really love is no snow. And then on the flip side, in the summers too, it just doesn't get that hot. Our summer days are right in the 70s, 80s, like absolutely perfect summer days. We do get some heat waves every so often, but it's typically maybe 90s. I mean, we'll get above 100 sometimes, but it's usually short-lived, maybe 2, 3, 4 days out of the year. Sometimes we might get a couple heat waves throughout the summer. And honestly, at nighttime, it really cools down. So you're not dealing with those 90-degree heat, like hot days all day long. It does cool down and you do get some relief from it. Along with a mild climate, we do get fairly decent 4 seasons here. Now, it's not like the true official 4 seasons where it's like snowy winter, super hot summer, but it's kind of our own version of the 4 seasons. So in the spring, we definitely get a true sign of spring, and that's all of the different flowers blooming. Yes, it will still be pretty rainy and drizzly throughout that time in spring, maybe occasional sunshiny days here and there, but it's really pronounced by all of the different flowers blooming. So spring is really pretty. Yes, it is typically gray and rainy, but you just have to look at those beautiful flowers popping up for some color in your life. And then coming into summer, we do again get a pretty solid summer. It can be short-lived. It can usually, definitely it's like July and August is our summer. Sometimes maybe June we'll get some heat, and then it kind of might trickle into September sometimes. So yes, it is a shorter lived summer, but once summer does hit, it is beautiful. It is perfect. That's when everybody loves to come here and visit. It's blue skies almost every day. Perfect weather, not too hot. It's amazing. So summers are great. And then fall, again, we do have a very pronounced fall with all of the greenery and trees that we have around here. Our falls are very beautiful with the leaves changing. You go to your, the pumpkins are out, pumpkin patches. You do the whole pumpkin hayride thing is really fun. So we do have a very pronounced fall. And then again, in the winter, we don't really get like the snowy winter. Winter is just gray rain starting from about November December, January, February, and then it continues to rain throughout most of spring. So yes, overall, Seattle does have a pretty mild climate, and that's what I personally love about living here. So if you are looking to take advantage of Seattle's mild year-round livability and you are thinking about making a move, reach out, give us a call, and let's talk and see what makes sense for you. Seattle's food and culture scene flies under the radar, and if you don't explore it, you are missing out big time. So number 3 is abundant restaurants and culture. So Seattle is really known as kind of a foodie city, I guess. We have so many different restaurants here. It's just, you'll never get bored going and trying all of the different ones. We've got such variety from the walk-in, kind of more hole-in-the-wall, walk up to the counter restaurants to fine dining, sitting down, where it's a whole experience, a whole dining experience, and everything in between. So the options are just never ending. I feel like you can live here for a long time and still never experience every single restaurant unless you're going out like every single day. It seems like there's always new restaurants opening up too. So that's one thing about living here that's just really great, is so many different food options. We've got restaurants all across the board, from Asian food to really good kind of vegetarian and vegan variety too. So if you are vegetarian and vegan, it's very easy to find those types of food offerings in the city. We've got burgers, we've got seafood, just the whole gamut. So there's so many different restaurants here. You will not be bored. Seattle is also known for its coffee. We are very big into coffee here. Every single neighborhood probably has like 2 or 3 coffee shops in it. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say there are coffee shops on every other street corner here. And we've got, again, the big chains that are more well-known, like Starbucks, Seattle's Best, but then also some more local, smaller spots that are just great as well. And with the coffee, like the coffee is great, but also just the coffee shops all have a vibe to them too. So some have local art, some will have maybe open mics, different things going on in them. You get to know your local coffee shop, you get to know your baristas there, and sometimes they'll know your order when they see you walking up. So it's just all about the coffee. People absolutely love their coffee here. It's one thing that if I'm out of town going somewhere else, I'm always like, ooh, you're a little hesitant to try like some other coffee, because you get spoiled here because there's such good coffee. And another thing that Seattleite are very much into and that Seattle is known for is its beer. So there are breweries, maybe not on every street corner like coffee is, but I would say probably most every neighborhood has at least one brewery. If not, there's different tap houses with a lot of different beer options. So Seattle's all about their beer, really our beverages. Coffee and beer are like the big things here. So really good coffee, really good beer. You're always gonna find some sort of delicious food item to eat or drink in Seattle. As far as cultural activities, Seattle has so many things going on as well. Like, again, yes, we are known for our rainy weather, but I feel like there's always so many different things that you can do indoors. We have museums for days. We've got Seattle Art Museum, Mohai, there's Museum of Pop Culture, there's the Pacific Science Center, there's Chihuly Garden of Glass. I mean, there's just like so many different museums that you can go to. So if it's a rainy day, you can pop on in and go inside somewhere. So Seattle is a very big music city. We had the 90s grunge era, and so music is still a very big part of the culture in Seattle. Now, it has changed a lot over the years. I've seen, just in the short time that I've lived here, back from 2009, I mean, I've seen a lot of these smaller local music venues close. They get bulldozed and apartments get built on them. It's kind of sad. So we've seen a lot of that going on, but there is still music venues in the area. So you can have the smaller, more local bands up to the large arenas with the larger, more well-known bands, and everything in between. So Seattle still has you covered for music. And then just tons of different cultural activities. The Seattle Center, where the Space Needle is located, they have different cultural activities throughout the year. I think for most of the year, just not including the winter part, but they have several different cultural activities almost like every weekend. It seems like there's something going on, and a lot of those are free. So you can just walk right in and kind of walk around and peruse and see what's going on. So again, there's something for everyone, even the most like random niche like interest that you're into, I feel like there's going to be some sort of convention or something for that in Seattle. So you're always going to be able to find something to do. We also have sport. Professional sports in Seattle is a very big thing. People get very serious about their sports. We've got the Seattle Seahawks, go Hawks. We just won the Super Bowl. So that was a really fun thing to be a part of. Everybody just gets so excited. Even if you're not really into sports, like you still just get caught up in it and you get excited and you're cheering your team and everybody's high-fiving and happy. So it's just really fun to be a part of. So we've got the Seattle Seahawks. We've got the Mariners for baseball. Again, they did really good last year. I love the Mariners. We go to games all the time. So very excited for this season to start. And then we've also got soccer, pro soccer. We've got the men and the women's soccer. And then basketball, we have the women's basketball team as well. So we don't have a NBA basketball team. We used to have the Supersonics. They went away. A lot of people are still very upset about that. People are not happy. Supposedly, we're going to be getting a team if they do an expansion team at some point. So we will see if the Supersonics make it back to Seattle. I feel like we've been talking about that for a long time. Like since I moved here in 2009, that's been on the radar of everybody and talking. We haven't seen it yet, but hopefully sometime in the near future, we will have an NBA team back in Seattle. Seattle is ahead of the curve when it comes to sustainability and progressive values, no question. So number 4 is progressive and eco-focused culture. So one thing to know about Seattle, and you're probably aware if you've been looking into it, is Seattle is a very progressive city politically, and especially with the social political aspects. This may not be a pro for everyone, but just something to be aware of when you are moving here. Seattle skews very, very progressive. I've had clients that moved here from other areas and are like kind of surprised by how progressive Seattle is. When you get out from Seattle proper, some of the suburbs, it gets a little less, I guess, intense compared to the city of Seattle, but it's just something to know about. Seattle is very progressive minded, and they are also very inclusive and accepting of the LGBTQIA communities. So that is something that draws a lot of people to the area as well. And as far as sustainability practices, Seattle has really been a pioneer in this area for a long time. In the city of Seattle, you have to recycle and you compost. Every household and business has to compost and recycle. So you will see those big green bins wherever you go. And if you go to different restaurants, you have to throw away your own food. You're going to have to separate it based on garbage, landfill, recycle, and compost. So just something to get used to when you are here is composting is a very big thing. Also, all the grocery stores, you have to bring your own bags, use your own reusable bags. If you don't, you will get charged for a paper bag. And then all of the restaurants and venues, like event venues, use compostable takeout containers. So if you get to go from any restaurant, they're going to be these compostable bins. We don't have styrofoam in Seattle anymore. That's been banned. So it's all going to be compostable things. And when you go to different events and arenas too, like if you go to the Mariners, it's all compostable items that you're getting your food with. Compostable silverware, compostable straws, compostable like things to hold your food. So it's just everywhere. And as far as the buildings go, Seattle has a lot of LEED certified buildings, which LEED is a green certified rating system. So Climate Pledge Arena, where the Kraken play for hockey, that arena was revamped to be more climate friendly. That's why it's called Climate Pledge Arena. And also when you are driving around the city, you will see a lot of buildings with green roofs or green like living walls on the side, just part of making buildings more sustainable. And there's quite a few buildings that actually use gray water systems for like washing hands and for toilets. So they're not using like fresh incoming water, they're just re-catching rainwater. So you might notice that in some buildings if you go into, sometimes the toilet water is like kind of not just clear and you're like, ooh, what's going on? But it's actually because they are using gray water or rainwater for those systems. So overall, Seattle is very progressive and eco-minded. Each neighborhood has its own vibe, and if you haven't explored them, you are missing the best part of the city. Number 5 is unique neighborhoods. So Seattle is just known as like a city of neighborhoods. It's all about the neighborhoods in Seattle, and they run the gamut. I mean, you've got the more urban walkable neighborhoods, maybe downtown area. You've got the more neighborhoods that are geared more towards nightlife and maybe young professionals. You've got the neighborhoods that are more family oriented and everything in between. So it's all about the neighborhoods, and people that live in their specific neighborhoods get very like not stuck in their neighborhoods, but they just are like, most neighborhoods have everything you need. You've got your grocery stores, you've got your coffee shops, your brewery, like I talked about, you've got different restaurants. Usually you're gonna have a post office in each neighborhood, a library, and a lot of different shops. So a lot of people just kind of get, you have everything in your neighborhood. You're like, you don't need to go to this other neighborhood for anything. Maybe a different restaurant that you want to try, or if you have friends there. But I just noticed that with a lot of people, you just get very content in your neighborhood and you don't really want to leave. So Seattle is just all about neighborhoods. And I know some people that have lived in certain neighborhoods forever and they're like, oh, I've never been down here to this neighborhood, or over here, I've never explored this much, because the way the city is shaped, it can take a long time to get from neighborhood to neighborhood sometimes. So it's like, if it's traffic and it's bad, it's just like not even worth it. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the other end of the city for what? Like, I have everything that I need in my neighborhood. So Seattle's all about the neighborhood, and each one is different and has its own vibe and feel. So if you are wanting to know more in depth about the neighborhoods and really trying to figure out what is the best neighborhood for you, reach out to us, give us a call. We know all about the neighborhoods, all about the suburbs surrounding Seattle as well, and we can really help you find the best spot that fits your needs. Seattle gives you endless outdoor options, and if you are not taking advantage of them, you are missing big time. So number 6 is easy access to outdoor activities. So this kind of goes along with what I talked about earlier, is like the beautiful scenery. Seattle also just has such great access to outdoor activities, and it can be outdoor, as simple as just a nice little walking trail to go walk your dog right outside of your apartment, or if you want to drive and go climb to the top of Mount Rainier, that's an option too. So we've got kind of the full gamut, to like the more extreme outdoor activities to just like a simple stroll in the park, everything in between. There's something for everyone here, and it's all very accessible and close. So we've got everything from hiking, biking, water sports. We've got paddle boarding, fishing. You can even drive out to the coast and go surfing. There's a huge surfing community out in like Westport area on the coast. You have to wear a really thick wetsuit, but you can surf here. We've got kayaking, we've got ski mountains like all around that are very accessible and easy to get to. Camping is a favorite activity for people, especially in the summertime. We've got great city parks in Seattle. We've got state parks throughout the state. And then we've got Olympic National Park, which is over on the peninsula, which is a great place to visit. And it's easy access from Seattle. You just take a little ferry over and then you drive up. So the ease to get to some of these activities is just really great. A lot of them are really easy day trips where you just can go up for the day, or an easy weekend trip as well. So if you are really into the outdoor lifestyle, and even if you're like not, again, super extreme, if you're just kind of more like, I like the walking trails, I like to get outside and breathe the fresh air, you can have that as well. So Seattle just has it all as far as easy access to outdoor activities. Imagine being able to walk to coffee, food, and everything you need. Well, Seattle, number 7, is walkability and public transit. So Seattle is a very walkable city. I think it's something that a lot of people maybe don't realize, and I think part of it is those neighborhoods that are very kind of densely located. If you're looking at a map, it's hard to tell, but Seattle is a pretty dense city because of geographically, we've got water around and hills. Like Seattle's also very hilly. If you're looking at a map, you may not realize, but that kind of creates these little pockets of the neighborhoods. So it makes it very dense here and just very easy to walk around and get around. Most Seattle neighborhoods have sidewalks, not all of them. If you go further north in Seattle or further south on towards the edge of the city, you're not going to see sidewalks in some of those neighborhoods, but a good portion of the area has sidewalks and is very easily walkable. When I first moved here, I lived in the Lower Queen Anne neighborhood, which is a very walkable neighborhood. It's really close to downtown, and I worked in my neighborhood and I hung out in my neighborhood. I think I put like a few hundred miles on my car the first year I lived here, because it's just so easy to walk around or take public transit. Parking is a pain in most areas of the city, so it's like easier to just hop on public transit or walk versus driving your car and trying to find parking some places. So another thing to note is Seattle, the public transit here is pretty decent. I'm not going to say it's like the best, but it's not terrible either, especially for the US. I think we do have a pretty decent public transit system here, and they are always improving it. We have city buses that run throughout the city and can connect you to the outer suburbs as well. And then we do have the light rail that has been expanding for the past several years, and it still is expanding. So currently it goes up north along I-5, it goes up to Linwood up to the north, and then it goes down to Federal Way to the south, and it will be expanding beyond that too. And then it does connect east and west, so it will get you into Bellevue and the east side. That line just opened up to connect to the east side in March this month. So the transit here is pretty accessible and easy to get around. I know plenty of people that live here that don't have vehicles. It is absolutely nice to have a car, especially if you want to go on to those weekend getaways that I talked about before. But you can absolutely get by without a vehicle in this city. But if you do that, it is nice to have like a friend with a car at the very least. So, but overall, Seattle is a very walkable city with pretty decent public transit. If you enjoyed learning about what makes Seattle so special, you'll want to check out this next video where I dive even deeper into life here. And as always, if you are thinking about making the move to Seattle, reach out to us, give us a call, email, or text, and we can get started on a game plan for your move.